What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. The last part showed us some interesting developments with the characters. Each of the main characters in the story had very different methods of training, leading to very different end goals for everyone. We got to see how training changed Goku, Vegeta, Roshi, and Gohan, being uniquely affected by each of their unique training methods. But that led us further into Super, and we actually got to see Vegeta meet Goku again. And after all their training and experience, Vegeta wants a fight, something that truly tests out his power and Goku's. For this video, let's set a like goal of 2,500 likes, and once we hit that, I'll continue with another part. Anyways, let's pick up from here. So in the last part, we left off with a challenge. Vegeta wanted to face Goku again. And naturally, Goku would probably want this. Beerus and Shin would be pretty interested too. They have their own little rivalry going on, and Beerus kinda wants to see if his student is better than Shin's. Shin doesn't really view it that way, but he does want to see how both of them have progressed. Whis thinks this is a great idea, and since Goku is his student, he'll give special treatment, and help them find a place to fight. That settles it then. In a few days, on an unnamed planet, the two will have a duel, with an audience of all their friends. By having it somewhere else, this means they don't have to damage the planet, but they could still go all out if they want to. This is no tournament, it's an actual battle. First person to be knocked unconscious is the one who loses. It's been a while since they had an all-out fight like this, and one of the first times they have a duel and they're actually somewhat even. The two pace themselves, starting in base, but obviously, they don't get anywhere by doing this. Goku then jumps to Super Saiyan, while Vegeta turns Ultimate, and this catches Goku off guard. He expected Vegeta to go Super Saiyan next, but that's not the case here. Ultimate Vegeta far outpaces Goku in Super Saiyan. Even in Super Saiyan 2, he may be in a bit of trouble here. Unlike Gohan, Goku hasn't really had the same training in Super Saiyan 3, so it's not too useful in this battle. So he just goes to the next best step, Super Saiyan God. Vegeta's lost an edge in terms of power, but he's still keeping up somehow. Goku's a bit concerned, this will be an issue. Is Vegeta really that powerful now? Curious, Goku asks Vegeta. They shouldn't play around anymore. Vegeta did want a full power battle after all, so why not just go full power right now? Vegeta's fine with this and agrees. Both of them want to see where the other is in terms of power. So, they both turn blue. This only serves to concern Goku even more, but he chuckles about it. Before the two of them clash, Goku realizes Vegeta has finally surpassed him. While it's not a crazy gap in power, it's still considerable, and he commends Vegeta for it. It seems Goku really will have to step up his training if he wants to catch up, but he's not going to forfeit. The two have a respectable fight, and while Goku is able to get a few good hits on Vegeta, ultimately, Goku is the loser in this fight. But this gives Goku a new goal. They'll have another fight sometime in the future, once Goku is stronger. He clearly should take some notes from Vegeta. The two are content and say their goodbyes, but right before Vegeta leaves, Roshi asks something. After seeing Vegeta fight without using Super Saiyan, he wonders, could he possibly obtain the ultimate form as well? Vegeta's a bit amused to hear this. And it's weird, he never really thought about it. Roshi possibly has some huge latent potential, and Vegeta's actually kinda curious about it. So he agrees, and directs Roshi to Elder Kai. While Roshi doesn't want to leave his students for too long, Elder Kai says it's okay. He'll only be gone for a few days at most. And he, Shin, and Kibito are also pretty curious to see what happens. An Earthling, doing this godly ritual. It could lead to some pretty interesting results. So, as they leave, they take Roshi with them, with Roshi saying goodbye to Gohan and Goten temporarily. Whis picks up on this and keeps an eye on Roshi. It seems he's pursuing a new method of power. Whis is really interested in this Earthling, and he's going to keep up with what Roshi's doing. Since all the Kais are basically Roshi's bosses really high up, he shows insane respect to them. He is a guardian in training after all, and if he is going to become a god, he wants to have a spotless record with them. Not only are the Kais impressed with his power, but with his dedication. He clearly seems like a good fit to be Guardian, and he has a clear desire to get stronger. They're even surprised to find out he's over 300 years old. This really is unlike any other Earthling they've seen. He's trained up so many other Earthlings, and he's even had experience training with the gods. Truly, he's a unique Earthling. He definitely is worthy of getting this form, so Elder Kai unlocks his potential. The thing is with Roshi, I feel like he'd have an enormous amount of potential in this scenario, especially since he'll never die of old age. He can keep training for the rest of his life without worry, which is what builds up so much of that potential. Elder Kai even notes this. He still has so much further to go, and even Vegeta is impressed. Considering Roshi's circumstances and all his training before, if you really want me to give a scale of how strong he is, I'd say he's closing on the level of God Goku and Vegeta. Yeah, that strong. In all honesty, this could even be a low ball. But I don't want to get too crazy. It's just with the insane amount of potential he has, I could definitely see something like this happening. It truly comes as a shock to everyone. Meanwhile, on Beerus' planet, Goku continues working on Super Saiyan Blue. Sure, he does want to surpass Vegeta in raw power, but there's also technique that comes with it. He needs to master this form somehow and go beyond Blue. So he works towards that, and during this time, Champa shows up trying to get the Super Dragon Balls, naturally leading to the Universe 6 vs 7 tournament. As for the teams, it's going to be a little different this time. Of course, Goku and Vegeta are on there, but the other 3 members are different. It'll be Roshi, Gohan, and Goten this time. With the latter 3 more focused on training, and with how much they've grown, of course they're going to be recruited here. So let's briefly cover the tournament. The first matchup is Gohan vs Batama, and I think it's pretty safe to say Gohan's going to win this one. So next up, he faces Frost, and he's surprised because somehow he loses. It seems Frost has some weird technique that makes him paralyzed somehow. And it's odd because this guy seems like Universe 6's Frieza, but he's actually a good guy. Or so they think, but it seems like they'll have to watch out for him because he has some weird strong technique that can paralyze anyone. Roshi faces him next, and the same thing happens to him. Turns out this wasn't some weird technique, Frost was using poison. He's immediately disqualified. Vegeta doesn't get involved here because that's not who he is in this scenario. So Frost is kicked out, while Gohan and Roshi are given time to recover. Following this, Goten faces Vegeta. He's eager to actually fight someone now. With how much training he's got with Roshi and Gohan, he feels really confident about this, but he can't seem to injure Vegeta in any way. He's saddened by it because he did want to have a good fight with someone, but this guy does not seem to be his match. However, he hears about the weakness of the Metal Men. They just don't like insults. That's perfect for Goten. Easily, I'm sure he'd be able to come up with an insult, which allows him to win. Meaning next he faces Cabba. Goten's pretty interested to see this. Universe 6 has Saiyans too. As a half Saiyan, this is pretty cool to see, since there's only 2 Saiyans that he knows of in his universe. Using what he's been taught, he paces himself. In base form, he's fighting Cabba, but it seems he can't match up to his power. The Saiyan must be pretty strong then, and he's having fun with the fight, so he jumps into Super Saiyan. Cabba's just speechless, he doesn't know what this is. And Goten's just confused. He doesn't know Super Saiyan? Cabba's intrigued by this, but there's no way Goten will be able to teach him it. At least not now, so Cabba continues fighting him while Goten's in Super Saiyan. And with Goten in Super Saiyan, this means he far outclasses Cabba. So he wins the fight, and tells Cabba he hopes to see him with Super Saiyan sometime soon. Cabba's just amazed at how strong this kid is. And because of the Super Saiyan form, he'll definitely be trying to pursue it. Finally, Goten faces Hit, and he's getting a little nervous. This Hit guy seems like serious business. And in terms of power, Goten doesn't know how he matches up. Immediately, he goes Super Saiyan 2, knowing he can't mess around here. He tries to attack Hit, but every time, Hit somehow knows how to dodge it. Nothing's working, so he tries a Kamehameha, and Hit doesn't even dodge it. He's just able to tank it. Goten's clearly out of his league, and Hit knows this. Quickly, so quick that Goten doesn't even see it, Hit fires a compressed air blast at Goten, knocking him out of the ring. Next up, Goku faces Hit, eventually being pressured into Super Saiyan Blue, but he's got something new this time. While he did want to get ahead of Vegeta, he did still train with Vegeta before this tournament, and that allowed both of them to access something new. Goku will be the first one to show it off. Against Hit, he goes to perfected Super Saiyan Blue. And with this, he's actually able to somewhat match Hit better. Even with the time skip, through his pure speed and power he's able to keep up still. But the thing is, keeping up isn't good enough. He needs to surpass Hit. Although he puts up a good fight, he inevitably loses, as Vegeta goes up next. The good thing is, Vegeta's actually stayed ahead of Goku, and now he also has perfected Super Saiyan Blue. However, it's apparent that the gap between them is closing. It seems Goku is taking up some new forms of training, which we'll get to see more of in the next episode. But regardless, Vegeta still remains ahead, and by the skin of his teeth, he's barely able to outpace Hit, which does trip the assassin up, allowing Vegeta to take the win here, securing victory for Universe 7. So it all turned out good. Everyone was able to test out their power as well, except for Gohan and Roshi. They kinda did want to fight someone other than Frost, but this is for the better. They're not too concerned about it. But with the Universe 6 tournament done, this means we can hop over to the future timeline. If you remember from a few episodes ago, it's not just future Trunks this time, there's also future Gohan and Goten. And Trunks isn't the same Trunks as before. He's a human, not a hybrid Saiyan. To be honest, I don't really want to waste these guys, so if you do want to see a spin-off video about their timeline, let me know, and I may do it if I find some free time in between videos. But for them, things have been going pretty good. There were some hiccups, but overall everything's great right now. And it remains that way. There's no Goku Black, there's no Vegeta Black, Gohan, Trunks, Goten Black, whatever. Everything's surprisingly good. No Zamasu's here, but as for the main timeline Zamasu, let's just say there are some interesting developments. Let's go back to the present timeline. After the Universe 6 tournament, we arrive at a fight between Vegeta and Zamasu. Vegeta is surprised at the power of this Kai. Right now he's only an ultimate, and he doesn't need the power of Super Saiyan Blue on top of that, but even with ultimate, Zamasu is still somehow keeping up. Although, Vegeta does have a very clear advantage here. He's surprised at the skill of this Kai, and he wants to finish this fight quickly. The two clash once more, And then, Zamasu concedes. He thanks Vegeta for the training session. Wait, what? Training? Sorry for the little fake out there. But really, right now they're training under Shin and Gowasu, wanting to see how their apprentices are progressing. Normally it would be Kibito fighting Zamasu, but Kibito is looking at a promotion to Supreme Kai rather than Apprentice. Yeah, there's gonna be 2 for Universe 7. I mean, the one isn't really being that effective right now. Jokes aside, Zamasu doesn't actually turn evil here, but it's not that clear cut. He does almost turn evil, but since Vegeta is training under a Kai right now, and knowing that Shin and Kibito knew Gowasu and Zamasu, it's not unlikely that Vegeta would end up meeting Zamasu as well, and this would be a pretty big change for him. Zamasu does almost turn evil, but he has a discussion with Vegeta and gets to face him a bit. He's able to see through Vegeta. These mortals aren't actually mocking gods. They're trying to obtain a similar power so they can protect their universe. It's a noble cause, and by fighting an apprentice like Vegeta, Zamasu is able to see this. He even hears Vegeta's story, which intrigues him. He learns that mortals can change. Vegeta used to be an evil psychopath, going around destroying stuff and genociding planets. But now, he's training under a Kai, trying to better himself and his universe. This is a side that Zamasu didn't expect to hear. And yeah, on GodTube, there were some god powers on display during the Universe 6 tournament. But it's not really that big of a deal for Zamasu now. I mean, the 3 people that were showing godlike abilities, well, one of them is a guardian of a planet called Earth, one of them is training under a Supreme Kai, and the final one is training under an angel and god of destruction. They're all trying to pursue these careers, not mock them in any way. And after all these meetings and sparring sessions, although Vegeta is way ahead, he and Zamasu develop somewhat of a rivalry, actually becoming friends. It's a really unlikely friendship. But with both his apprentice Kais, they keep in touch. Zamasu is fascinated by Vegeta, and vice versa, and the two enjoy each other's company. Shin, Gowasu, and Kibito are all glad, seeing their students interacting like this. There's no future Trunks arc here. Instead, we'll enter an arc of training, which I'll refer to as the Godhood Saga. Vegeta's not the only one who's keeping up with training though. Goku still is, and it turns out he's gonna have a new classmate. After all this time, Whis finally decides to ask Roshi if he'd like to train under him. Roshi is stunned by this, he never expected it. But Whis explains, he could tell, while Roshi can't rival someone like Goku or Vegeta in power, he's by far the most technical and skilled fighter in Universe 7. Well, at least as far as mortals go, because otherwise that title would belong to Whis. Roshi had hundreds of years of expert martial arts experience and training. He's trained under multiple gods, and his power is really impressive. Whis wants to explore this. He feels that Roshi may be able to access something that he's been searching for in Goku. It's not that Whis is giving up on Goku, it's more so seeing if he could help him somehow. And of course, as for Goku, he's really excited to have Roshi join, although it's odd having him as a fellow student rather than a teacher. It's been so long since he trained with Roshi, and they're glad to be together again. And Roshi assures Goku, as for his sons, they've been making great progress, and Roshi thinks they'll be fine without him by now. Gohan pursues trying to improve Super Saiyan 3, and using his hybrid potential, he's still getting a lot stronger, as well as Goten, who's trying to catch up to his brother, idolizing him somewhat. Goku's really glad to hear this, thankful for Roshi's training, and proud of his sons. And for old time's sake, he spars with Roshi, and is surprised to see how strong he is now with his ultimate form. Goku's even forced to go into Super Saiyan God, but even with that, Roshi is still matching him in power. Goku never expected to see this, and is simply just amazed. Roshi can't even begin to put into words how proud he is of Goku. He's happy that Goku turned out this way and lets him know that. If only Grandpa Gohan could see how strong he's become. Really, all of Roshi's students have been impressing him, and he's content right now. It's clear that he did a good job as a teacher. But as for Goku, he can tell he still has a long way to go, and together, they'll achieve higher highs. Goku shares this opinion, and looks forward to getting stronger with his former teacher. They continue training, and one day, Roshi faces off against Goku once again in a sparring match, but this time, they're trying to go all out. The fight eventually leads to Ultimate Roshi versus God Goku, and Goku has to turn up the heat. He eventually jumps into Super Saiyan Blue, but that's no problem for Roshi. He jumps into Kaioken, trying to deal some damage to Goku. But the thing is, as Goku powers up further, Roshi can't keep powering up with Kaioken. Sure, he can handle it at really high levels, but there's still a certain point that it's going to hurt him too much to do for a long period of time. It's clear he's reaching his limit, and Goku asks if he wants to stop the fight, but Roshi says no. He wants to keep going, trying to focus. He tells Goku they're not going to end until one of them is unconscious. Goku accepts the challenge, and now, perfected Super Saiyan Blue Goku faces off against Kaioken times 100, Ultimate Roshi. Wow, that's a mouthful. Goku takes those words to heart, continuing and nearly winning the fight. But every time he tries to land a final blow on Roshi, Roshi gets back up. He's surprised at the persistence of his old master. He keeps trying to knock Roshi out, but it won't work, and he's no longer going to pull his punches. He throws a final attack at Roshi, a powerful punch. For Roshi, as this happens, it's almost as if time slows, and for some reason, he's quick enough to move out of the way, kinda tripping Goku up. Goku sees that Roshi has a bit more fight and tries to hit him again, but just like before, Roshi dodges. Goku's confused. How is Roshi's speed quick enough for this? He tries harder, but somehow, Roshi keeps dodging, almost like he's not even trying. Whis and Beerus watch as their interest peaks. There's no way. Goku keeps on going, wondering how Roshi is able to do this. Suddenly, Roshi looks up at Goku, as his aura flares up, dodging one of Goku's attacks and being able to get behind him quickly, knocking him down with a single strike. As Goku drops into base form and falls unconscious, he realizes something. In that brief moment, something changed about Roshi. His whole aura, his ki, and though he could barely see it through the sunglasses, Roshi had an odd glow in his eyes. It didn't look like the master he once knew. Goku falls to the ground unconscious, as Roshi looks at himself, feeling some sort of amazing change. But alongside Goku, he too collapses, as the flames around him evaporate. Down on the surface, Whis catches them both, and Beerus looks at Whis. Silently, Whis nods, and Beerus grins. A mortal was actually able to do it. Although incomplete, Whis confirms that this is what he and Beerus both expected of Roshi. He could tell from Roshi's mind, his fortitude, and his experience, that Roshi was sharp enough to a point where he could actually control his movements subconsciously, at least to some extent. Not to mention, his power was more than enough to achieve this. Beerus is very excited. He can't believe it. A mortal may actually obtain the form that he was striving for himself, Ultra Instinct. And this is where we'll leave off for now. So what did you guys think about this episode? Do you want to see more of the future trio? How do you think Goku, Vegeta, Roshi, and Gohan's training will go? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below, and I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like, and let's try to hit the like goal from the beginning of the video. If you haven't already, why not subscribe, as well as hitting the bell icon to get notified about any future parts of this What If, or any other videos that I upload on my channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.